candidate if you want to do a lot of experiments. But if you're really wondering, why just pea plants? Why not any other plant with short life cycle? Well, that's because, and this is the most important reason, pea plants have a lot of characters. So a lot of characters to experiment with. So they had a lot of characters. Now, what do I mean by this? So let me show you. Let me give you examples of what characters I'm talking about. Let me give you an example of height. Height. Pea plants can either be tall or they can be short. So the tall ones can grow up to 5 to 6 feet tall. The short ones will be around 1.5 to 2 feet tall. Okay. Another example of the characters that you can see is in the pea shape itself. You can have pea plants which have round peas or the ones which have wrinkled peas. Similarly, you can do the same thing in the color. You can have pea plants which have yellow seeds, the yellow peas, or you can have the ones which have green peas. Another example, you can have pea plants which have purple flower, or you can have pea plants which have white flower. And there are a couple of other characters as well. So anyways, these properties that you can see, we call them characters. Any property which is visible, all these are, they're officially called, technically called characters. And the different variations you can get in those characters, like tall and short or round and wrinkled, they are called traits. Traits. Okay, so for example, we could say pea color is a character and it has two traits. We say it has a yellow trait and it has a green trait. And now you may be wondering, okay, what do you do with all of this? What's the point? The point is now what you can do is maybe you can take a tall pea plant and fertilize it with a short plant and see what offspring you get. And you can check how traits gets passed. Or you can take a purple flower plant and cross it with the white flower plant and see what trait is getting passed. Or maybe you take a short plant with yellow peas and cross it with tall plant with green peas and see then what happens. So many different experiments you can do, right? And by the way, another important advantage of peas you can see is that all these characters have just two traits, two contrasting traits. They're tall or short, yellow or green, purple or white, only two traits. But if you were to take, for example, the human eye color, it can have three traits. You can have brown or blue, or you can have green as well. Think about the human hair color. Think about the human hair type. So many different traits. The more traits you have, the more complicated our experiments become, the more difficult it becomes to keep track of them. But if you just have two traits, perfect. And that's why Mendel probably said for the next 7 to 8 years, I'm just gonna grow pea plants after pea plants in my garden. And that's why he grew so many pea plants. And if you're wondering, after all this hard work, did he find anything? The answer is yes. He did find a pattern which forms today the basis of genetics, which is so important that today Gregor Mendel is called the father of genetics.